his favor, wherewith shall it be exalted. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your name.
What a focus. One more. I guess you got no choice, man. Put it back where it was. Let's just, yeah, maybe a little more. You can still let it focus. There, that's perfect right there.
You ready to cut him out, were you?
Well, he's almost half of his body is still in the left frame of our picture, but you can't do anything about it, really. It's a long enough.
Okay, it's smooth now. Maybe I can get another one to cover. There's no interruption. Do this one here.
Church?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Fingers aren't there, are they?
No. I got a nice long shot of the church. Just the church long. Okay. Not long enough? You went for a long time.
Oh, no. I didn't realize you were shooting. That's all
Oh,
right.
I've
That's
been
fine.
rolling the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Okay, no, that's fine.
Yeah, I get the credits at the bottom. Is that alright?
Yep. You shooting, are you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It's rolling.
Okay.
Okay. Pull it back a couple inches. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. Things coming apart. Can you get that? Yeah, without the personalities?
Oh yeah, okay.
Cutter?
Okay.
Okay.
Scripture lesson will be taken from Proverbs, the 4th chapter, verses 1 to 18. Hear, children, the instruction of a father.
On the left?
Yeah, this one here.
For I give you good doctrine. Forsake
No,
not
I'm
my
wasting that one. I don't want that one here.
For I was my
I'll get this one here.
tender and only beloved in the sight of my mother. He taught me also and said unto
Okay.
me, let thine heart retain my word. Keep my commandments, for get wisdom, and with all thy getting get understanding. Exalt her, and she shall promote me. She shall bring me to honor, when thou dost praise her. She shall give to thine head an ornament of
Where did I miss that?
a crown of glory shall she deliver thee.
Okay, I might as well stop
Hear,
it.
O my father, and drink the wine of violence. But the path of the just is as the shining light, that shineth more and more.
Got what's it called? Framed in the background?
Yeah.
Okay, running. Hello, welcome to Black Horizons. I'm Hamid Rasheed, your host. Today we're going to do the first of a three-part series highlighting the 126 sessions of the African United Baptist Association. These programs will be coming to you live from the association meetings, which are being held this year in the community of East Preston. Okay, there, you can just look at me, yeah. Okay, we rolling? Dr. Oliver, you've been chairman of the Urban and Rural Life Committee of the African United Baptist Association for a good number of years now. What is the main thrust of the Urban and Rural Life Committee?
Well, the main object has been to act as a catalyst,
Object, yes.
and to, through using our clergymen and any professional people within our churches, and they sort of make a consensus and agree on the items and areas of concern that should be directed to the attention of our people during their convention.
Mm-hmm. This year, I noted in your report, you made a comment about I think you used the term abnormal unemployment and the devastating effects that it's having on our black communities. Could you perhaps just share a few words on that particular concern that you expressed in your report?
Yes, of course, this is general among youth, of course, but I do have a feeling that it's abnormal, as I've observed in our various black communities and on the streets of our city. There's so many idle young people, which suggests it must be a very frustrating thing for them. As a matter of fact, it is, because it's difficult for them to defer their gratification, to have to wait 2 or 3 years before they can obtain a meaningful job, having trained themselves and equipped themselves, and yet have to walk the streets and suffer the indignity of their dignity, having to apply for unemployment, in some cases welfare. This is not helping these young people. And I also suggested that it had something to do with weakening the fiber of family life, because most young people like to feel that they're gainfully employed, that they're able to provide a home and shelter and the amenities of life for their families. And if they're not working, they're going to defer doing this, and this creates further problems. And of course, it probably falls into the general pattern of greater flexibility in these social areas.
Yes. In terms of concrete action that this African Baptist Association might take to deal with a problem like unemployment, would you think that this is something that the association should involve itself in, or is this something perhaps the association would make strong recommendation to other black organizations to intervene in, or what do you think is the solution to this very serious problem?
Well, other than local church leaders or youth leaders developing proposals for manpower and youth programs, normally we recommend to other agencies. In the earlier days, it used to be NSACP, more recent been the Black United Front, and these agencies sort of carry out, because we look upon the community organizations as sort of secular arms of the church. But the church people have to be aware of it, and that's why we discuss them in our sessions.
I see. Over the many years that you've been chairman of the Urban and Rural Life Committee, what are some of the more pronounced developments that you've seen in the growth of the black community? Would you say generally that the community has progressed, or would you say that the progress of the community has been more or less static?
Oh, there's definitely tangible evidence of growth and development. Even particularly first in housing itself, then in the services, the highways, the approaches to our black communities. There was always a saying, you could always tell when you were leaving a white area and moving into a black area, but the municipal services are uniform today, and you can't make that distinction. They're having garbage services, street lighting, adequate snow plowing, all of these things that make for amenable community life. Not only is in the area of housing, I would say that job opportunities are improving. The number of students attending school has definitely increased. The grade index has raised. I recall, I would say about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, the grade index in the 8 communities in this area was grade 6 for women, and for the males was less. Now we find our high school, junior high, senior high, and our universities amply represented by residents and young people from our communities. They are breaking through. I do think that we need to emphasize utilizing our vocational schools. I think that we should not allow people to feel that if you take a vocational course, that's a second choice. You're taking that because you failed. We have too many young people who have aptitudes and skilled with their hands who would make tremendous vocational people, and all they need is to get into the training. Now, I realize that some courses there are people lined up for 2 and 3 years and they can't get into the course. But the point is that we are importing skilled trades to carry on our industries, and here we have these people idle walking the streets and who are trainable and who make good vocational and skilled workers.
So there would seem to be a tremendous need for greater emphasis on development of our local human resources, particularly human resources in the black community.
Right.
I know that the African United Baptist Association has a scholarship committee. I was able to talk to Maxine Goff, who's in charge of that committee. But one area that I wanted to explore with you in your capacity as chairman of the Urban and Rural Life Committee is the Education Fund for Black Students. I know that you've been involved in education for a great portion of your life. That fund is currently come under review, and I understand there's some suggestion that the fund should be discontinued. What is your view on the role of the Education Fund for Black Students and the contribution that it makes to the development of the black community?
Well, I concur with the various black groups who viewed who studied the evaluation and who felt that there was still a need for the fund, that there was a need for financial assistance in the particular areas that they were dealing in. I saw the evaluation, and probably with a historical background of having probably designed the first format for the fund and having been a member of the committee. I believe it was called Human Rights Commission, or it was a interdepartmental committee on human rights, the various departments of government who were involved in any aspect of the black community, and out of it they came out with this idea of financial assistance. It was never really understood, or a real effort was never made to understand it on the part of many white teachers. The objective was, number one, to encourage our black students to stay in school. They were dropping out just like flies. They were discouraged, and there was nothing that they could identify to. And by the same token, they were teachers in the school system who were asking, can you give us some sort of an in with these students? Can you give us some way that we can get in? And the fun was just a meaningful way for them to be able to talk to these students about the various categories of awards. There were awards simply for passing, awards for those who remained, who attended, top for attendance. There were those who achieved special achievement award. But the whole idea was to encourage leadership and to give them a sense of responsibility. Now, as a result of this, as I recall, the fund began in 63 or 65. About 300 or 400 students were assisted, and $25,000 was expended. And I retired from the department in 1976, and at that time they had a budget, an annual budget of approximately 180,000,
Yes.
and we were preparing to get ready for the 77, 78 year, and that would have been close to $200,000. It's always so strange, this whole business. People become disturbed because it's helping black people, and they begin to interpret it in the vein of welfare. It wasn't a matter of providing money for people who didn't have money. It wasn't a welfare thing. It was trying to meet a psychological need. It was trying to help the self-identity and assurance of these young black people. They have been beaten and suppressed so thoroughly and so psychologically that they need this extra help. To be able to go out and secure the types of clothing that their peers were buying in the school. The parents might think, well, if you've got a good pair of boots on your feet, that's all right, but everybody's wearing sneakers.
Yes.
And if I have a limited wage, I'm not going to, I think that's a waste of money. But if the children have it, it's theirs.
Yes.
They budget it, they spend it, and they feel better. I know something about this.
Yes.
I raised 5 children,
Yes.
and they all went through university with multiple degrees, but we did not do it simply by buying books and putting clothes on their backs. It took music lessons, it took bicycles, it took motorcycles, it took dealing with their ego, how they felt about themselves.
Yes.
Sammy Davis says, I gotta be me.
Right. So definitely, in your view, I think it would be safe to conclude that you think if the fun were to be discontinued, it would be a retrograde step.
Oh, yes.
Retrograde step. Doctor, just before we close off, I'd like to move on to another area. And given that you are, the name of your committee is the Rural and Urban Life Committee, the plight, what do you see as the future of the small rural black churches scattered across the Nova Scotia's black community? What do you think the future holds for these small churches? Are you optimistic?
Well, I think the future is dependent upon our ability to be able to recruit leadership. And it may require a new type of ministry. It may take a traveling ministry. It may take a group ministry, you see. But the one concern I have is that we encourage young, strong, well-trained, equipped young leaders to go in these churches.
So leadership is key to
Oh,
the
yes.
future of the organization.
Yeah.
I noted in your closing remarks in your report yesterday, you mentioned that you wish to step down after many years as chairman of the report. I think you emphasized the need to have a person or persons who are in the field, who are knowledgeable about what's going on. Would you, for example, what would your view be about, say, one of the secular organizations, such as the Black United Front or other organizations that are actively involved in the black community, working under the auspices of the Rural and Urban Life Committee of the African United Baptist Association to carry out the function that you carried out as chairman of the association? Or did you have, I don't know, maybe that's not a fair question, I don't know, but just curious as your views.
Well, that's a little difficult for me to answer. Maybe if you are asking me what type of a person or what type of position was I looking for.
Yes, perhaps that would be a better.
You see, you have to remember that I was a civil servant.
Yes.
And I was an adult educator,
Yes.
and and specializing in community development,
Yes.
which permitted me to go into all of the communities, black and white, and to develop techniques and skills to develop human personalities and leadership skills. So once I retired and was no longer having that vital touch with the communities, this is why I said we should find somebody within our church organization
Yes.
who is in a comparable position.
Yes.
It may be somebody who is a social worker.
Yes.
It may be someone who is in a human rights field worker, who is in communities, that they in turn not necessarily activate or initiate things, but be able to put down in a, shall we say, a professional way,